Get your ass to Mars.
Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars right now. My eyes are gonna come out of my body.
Yeah, as Ricardo was looking at a 4K Blu-ray of Total Recall. That's why this Star Trek podcast began with "Get Your Ass to
but
Mars."
you just let us know last week that on Mars there's a shipyard dedicated to building starships. So
it's all related.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone shut up.
It's space.
Quaid could be up there building the starship.
Give these ships air.
Give these ships air. I mean, maybe it's
Starfleet air.
It's in the same universe. It's the same cinematic universe.
Yeah, there you go.
It could be like, it honestly could be like when Starfleet is still starting out, right? Because they still had a lot of turmoil.
Yeah. I mean, that just could have been an episode. The crew of the Enterprise encounters a new world where the leader cruelly deprives his people of air.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger guest stars.
Same universe. Total Recall, Star Trek, and Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh yeah.
Oh
no,
you're right. It was actually a bunch of Ferengi.
Yeah.
Stealing gold.
Yeah. We're just here for gold.
that checks out actually.
Sure. Now Ferengi would love gold.
Yeah.
And fucking Han Solo is like, why do they want our gold? That's like my favorite line in that movie, where because he's
was Harrison Ford in Cowboys and Aliens?
Yeah. He was the
Holy
sheriff.
Shit, I only remember Daniel Craig.
Yeah, he's like the sheriff. Daniel Craig is like an outlaw, and Harrison Ford seems like the villain at first, but it's basically because he's trying to be a lawman.
Yeah,
and Daniel Craig.
Well, he's a racist piece of shit lawman, but whatever.
Oh, I forgot that part. Yeah,
he learns not to be a racist piece of shit.
Gold.
Yeah, in the course of the one movie, he learns to become a good man.
Yeah, there's so many people in that movie, like Sam Rockwell is in it.
Oh yeah, it's a star-studded cast. Like Jon Favreau called in a lot of favors to be like, can you please?
And then everyone's like, fuck you, dude. And he's like, well, now I'm doing Star Wars. They're like,
wait.
remember the time I was in that movie for you? That shitty fucking Cowboys and Aliens movie?
It would be hilarious if the entire cast of Cowboys and Aliens all were in The Mandalorian already.
Because they called in favors. They're like, remember when we did you that favor and we're in that shitty fucking movie?
All right.
Yeah.
I remember my promises and all those contracts I signed.
It was also Riddler, right? Like current Riddler.
Yeah, so Daniel Craig, Harrison Ford, Olivia Wilde, Sam Rockwell, Adam Beach, Paul Dano.
Yeah, Paul Dano, yeah. So bad at names.
So many other like character actors. You're like, oh yeah, that person's in this.
Yeah. By the way, I have to make a correction for last week.
God.
A lot of people were yelling at me.
What is this, amateur hour?
Plastic has carbon.
What are we, a bunch of newbies?
Therefore, Data is technically a carbon-based life form.
Oh yeah, true.
He's made of plastic.
So it's not just the rod inside him; it's everything else too.
How do you know he's made of plastic? I thought he was like a Terminator, like living tissue
metal.
He's made of liquid metal.
No, like a T-800. Like he's got skin over like metal part.
Actually, that was what I was starting to get at when I was asking the question last week. But then you reminded me, like, we've seen like footage of his arms detached and stuff. And
he's definitely
there's no
plastic.
flesh there.
Well, how do you know that it's not like the flesh? Like, how do you know? So like you can't see joints. So like if he's got no arm, maybe it's just the arm could live onto itself and then attaches to the body, but it could work, dude.
Maybe it's not muscle, but just like a skin layer.
Yeah. It's just a skin layer.
Okay.
He's
just got a dermis.
Skin bag.
Yes.
He's a bag of mostly carbon.
Yeah.
An ugly bag. But welcome to Newbie Star Trek, everyone.
Oh my God, we've gone off the rails. It's too early.
I'm Marvin. You've been listening to us with Ricardo and Dan.
I'm Dan.
Yeah, that's Dan.
I'm not Ricardo.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Ferengi. Yeah.
Ooh, that's this gerbil in here.
I'm a Damon.
So Ricardo hasn't watched Star Trek before. This is his first trip through Star Trek with us. So it's been a blast so far, I think, because we're going through the first season of TNG right now, and today's
to be completely
episode,
thorough, we wipe Ricardo's memory after every episode.
yeah. So as we're watching these episodes, they're new to me. I'm watching. It's. We should have called it First Run Star Trek, but we can't go back and change the goddamn title.
We can't change the name again.
No, you're always the newbie. I like it.
Yeah,
the newbie Star
By
Trek.
the way, if you're a new listener, I have a bit where it's not a bit. I really want this to happen. I want Jason Statham to reboot The Next Generation as Luke Picard,
or at least be part of it.
Yeah.
Right,
no,
right.
He's got to be. It's got to be a hard reboot.
He's got to be the exec producer.
Yeah. But I have different versions of it. So there's another version that I'd say multiverse version of Luke Picard.
Yeah.
That is Vin Diesel.
Right. We heard that one.
Yeah.
Was it
I got a new one. Every week, new Picard. This week's
great.
Picard. This week's multiverse Picard.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you know him as a comedian. Some of you know him as a guy who's made a great appearance in The Mandalorian. I'm talking about Bill Burr. Bill Burr as Captain Luke Picard with the Boston accent.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he's the everyman Picard who's very who's not the enlightened Picard, but he's more of just the well, we're just trying to do our best, Picard. All right.
He's the one who just fucking hates kids.
Yeah. It's like fucking kids. Fuck them.
No, don't fuck him.
No. He means no. Get him out.
The Traveler fucks him.
Yeah.
That's
not just the one. Traveler's not greedy.
He has only one special kid he wants.
He just wants the Mozart.
Traveler is a piece of shit, dude. The more I think about it, the more.
Well, yeah, he is a piece of shit. He accidentally teleported everyone to another side of the universe and didn't really explain why.
Yeah.
Why did he's supposed to
and he almost died doing it.
Yeah, and he's from a different time period, but he's fucking with time, the past constantly. What a fucking
a different time and not a different dimension or something. Whatever.
He likes to watch Mozart and the Whale.
Okay.
Well,
we should probably progress the podcast now.
The episode we watched this week was Heart of Glory, which is our first super Klingon-centric episode.
Yes.
Which made it a lot of fun. That episode first aired on March 21st of 1988. Dan, you know what to do. Tell us what happened.
All right. So back at that time, well, I told you guys previously about how Good Morning Vietnam had finally quit being top of the box office. Guess what took its place? Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach.
Yes.
Wait, that was ever... I'm surprised that ever hit.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That the 5th Police Academy movie was top of the weekend box office.
These days, a 5th movie in a series is a direct to DVD or Blu-ray or streaming. It is not.
Yeah, so like that. So I looked into it, and currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 8 reviews counted, averaging out to 0%. Fantastic.
Only 8 people reviewed it.
Do you guys remember the Police Academy cartoon?
No.
I barely remember that. I think I only remember reading about it once.
God, they would make a cartoon out of anything back then.
They made a cartoon out of the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, I had the action figures because they had the action figures for the cartoon. Yeah, I was a sucker.
Was it mainly centered around guy who makes sound effects?
I can only imagine it must have been.
It was Mahoney. I think was the main character, and everybody was. It was really everybody from the movie. Did
they bring the original actors to do the show?
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember.
Because in Star Trek animated, is the actual actors. They brought them back.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's
they think so. Unless I'm crazy. Let me just make sure.
And that makes me wonder, how valid is that animated series as Star Trek canon?
I think it's actually canon.
Oh.
It's just canon
films.
So that means this podcast has to cover it someday.
I mean, potentially. Okay, I'm reading now. Apparently, it was decanonized by Gene Roddenberry, but
Well,
the people,
Gene Roddenberry says it.
Well, also Michael Okuda and Denise Okuda apparently do not include it as part of their canon, but whatever. It's Star Trek. That's the
Okudas are such an interesting like thing to me. It's like somehow this couple became like the authority on so much.
I think, yeah, it's interesting because like they were originally just working in the VFX department.
Yeah, but then they became like the Rosetta Stone to the Blu-ray restoration.
Yeah. I think it was just you were around back then. Do you remember, sort of thing?
I guess that's kind of it. And they like seem to be the most stable and like the most stable people with the best memory.
Yeah. So
something like that.
Anyway.
Oh right, we're still doing history. Also, Mike Tyson successfully on that day in Tokyo, he defended his world heavyweight champion boxing title against Tony Tubbs in the Tokyo Dome by TKO in round 2, keeping him the undisputed champion of future questionable tattoo placement.
This is shortly after his marriage, right?
I forget exactly when, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he wasn't marked up just yet.
Okay.
Finally, and this is just one of those interesting bits of history that stuck out to me. On the 22nd, the very next day, Congress would vote to override a controversial veto by Ronald Reagan on the Civil Rights Restoration Act of 1987, and notably, it was a sweeping like civil rights reform bill that had bipartisan like support, and for whatever reason, Reagan was against it. And notably, Jim Wright of Texas had told the president that he was confident that the Senate and House will move swiftly to override this unfortunate and short-sighted veto. The president may want to turn the clock back on civil rights, but the American people do not, Wright said.
Wow.
So,
it's weird to think that.
Yeah, what a bizarre world that must have been.
Yeah, where
Congress was the moral compass for a president.
What a world.
Now there is no moral compass at all.
Well, money's your compass. Follow the money.
The money compass.
Follow it to the bank.
The compass has been recalibrated to follow money.
Instead of NSWE, it's just M.
Just $sign. All right. Well, there's no real transition I can make into Heart of Glory from that, because the Klingons don't really care about money.
Yeah.
I guess they're a bunch of idiots, so.
Yeah, they are a bunch of idiots. Clinging on to old tradition.
Is that why they're called Klingons? Is that why they're called Klingons?
Maybe.
No, they're just really clingy.
Yeah, like Roddenberry was doing laundry, and the sock was like kept sticking to his pant leg. Like,
I mean, that's part of the theme of this episode. There's some Klingons who literally can't let go of the old ways.
Yep.
So anyway, Ricardo, could you please take us through what happened through this Klingon heavy episode of screams?
This episode should have been called Luke Picard Discovers Predator Vision.
That's so true. He gets so fascinated and almost derails the entire episode.
It's so stupid because it's like a stupid side thing that has nothing to do with the episode at all. Yeah. It's just like, he's just so fascinated. Even Riker has to be like, hey, can we table this? And
if Riker didn't intervene, Picard would just been questioning Geordi for 40 minutes.
Given how close they had cut it, if Picard had kept dicking around with this more for like just a few more seconds, they would have all died.
If he had kept talking, they would have just died while he was talking to them. He's like, Geordi, look to your right. Wave your hand in front of your face. And the thing explodes.
Oh wow, Geordi, what is that? It looks like there was an explosion in the ship. What is?
Yeah, Picard's the equivalent of that person who sees you without your glasses on and says, "How many fingers am I holding up?"
So this episode starts off, and there's a disturbance in the Force. I mean, the neutral zone. And what is the neutral zone? I don't know what this is.
It's just a part of space where it's not territory of any kingdom, not a kingdom.
It's like, is it like international waters, kind of?
It's international waters.
Sort of, yeah.
That's the best. So a lot of Star Trek, because Gene Roddenberry was from the military at some point, a lot of stuff in Star Trek can just be one-to-one, like transposed from like the Navy. It's why Starfleet is like a military, even though it's supposed to be like a science exploration thing.
Yeah, it's a little. Sometimes I have trouble when I start thinking too hard about that.
Yeah. There's a lot of contradictions there because he just wrote based on what he understood, which is I was in the military, so blah blah blah, and that's it. So
he had a lot of clingy friends. So the episode starts off, and there's a disturbance in neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite thing is that so there's a disturbance in the neutral zone, and Worf turns around, and he is so excited. So excited. He's like, a battle.
Yeah.
A battle.
He can't wait to get involved.
In Quadrant 9. And he is so hard for this. Like, he hears the word battle, and he's fucking hard as shit, dude. And he's excited, and he's like, hey, there's no information. Let's go in there. Let's fucking investigate. And no one goes, man, why is Worf so fucking excited, man? But he is, and they're like, what do you think it is, Ferengi? I was like, I don't know. And then there's talk about separating the saucer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen this in episode 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, are all the civilians in the saucer?
Yeah, the saucer is also where the main bridge is, and a few other things. But basically,
what do you mean the main bridge? Like
the bridge that they're currently on. So there's a main bridge, that's the main bridge, and then there's a battle bridge, which is below, which is why in the first episode you saw them like get to the battle bridge when they went there. Like that's below the saucer so that they can separate it while controlling the engines down there. Separately.
So where do they fight? They fight in the non-saucer part, right? That's what they take?
Yeah, that's what they take. The saucer would be all the civilians. They do that in the event that like, oh, we're going to get into some real shit. Let's put the civilians in a safe spot somewhere. And then we'll fight in the lower part.
Yeah, like just mentioning the detachment of the saucer here just brought up all these questions in my mind. It's like, well, what threat level necessitates the separation of the saucer? Because you did it once ever. You've gotten into several scuffles since then, but you never even mentioned detaching it. Like, when do you care about the people on your ship?
I think it might only be because they're in the neutral zone, and that's like anything can happen there. Whereas every other time they're just like somewhere where they're like, it's fine. It's
like get the saucer back into incorporated space because they don't have life insurance here.
yeah, basically.
It could basically be
we're
that.
We're going to Mexico and our insurance policy doesn't cover us, so we got to leave the saucer behind.
Yeah. It's shit like that makes you wonder. Like, I don't. What civilians are just like shit? Let's do that. Let's go on this Enterprise.
Yeah, let's just go on this ship.
Because
everyone
like
there, they don't ever like the civilians on board. Don't ever seem to reap the benefits of visiting all these different worlds. It's not like they get off and check out the place. Or
sometimes they get off. You know what I mean?
But the crew has to go first to make sure it's okay. But then it's never okay.
No. Never.
Oh no.
I assume there's like shuttles, right? Like when they get to like, or like when they get near a planet, they get shuttle out of there, or like.
Yeah, I think they just transport it. They just go.
They go talk to Jason Statham.
Yeah,
and he kicks them out of the fucking out of the ship. So anyway, they head out to investigate this disturbance, and they get there, and they discover that there's a ship. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of floating there, and they can't figure out if there's life or not. They're having trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then they think it's a Romulan vessel, and we haven't seen Romulans, right?
I don't think we've seen Romulans as characters in the show yet. I don't think
we've seen any characters. Yeah.
But when you see them, they'll basically look like eviler Vulcans.
Yeah, they're just Vulcans with extra wrinkles.
Really?
Because Romulans are like they're genetically the same as Vulcans. Actually,
they share an ancestor.
Yeah, they're both from the same. It's like the difference between like like white and black people basically for humans, like Romulans.
So some are racist and some are not.
Yeah, Romulans would be the racists, I guess.
That makes sense.
Well, like one half of the society decided to go fully logical and emotionless, and the other decided to embrace their emotions and turn into like a warlike species. And that's the Romulans. I wouldn't be
surprised if like within like canon you would see that Romulans and Vulcans, like while very similar, are technically physiologically different. But
yeah, I think at some point they established that like their genetic disposition became separate enough that they're separated enough. But I do remember that one of the original things about them is that they're basically the same. It's just they actually just have a difference in philosophy.
All right.
Different philosophy teachers.
School us in the comments if there's schooling to be done.
And we'll correct it next week. Not me.
Ricardo's exempt.
Yeah. I'm not going to do this homework shit. I didn't even go to my SATs. I went to Red Lobster instead.
That's true.
If you haven't listened to the previous episode,
is what you should have done. Yeah.
Because
look where you are now.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
Look at this. Red Lobsterless.
I know. Now we're all fucked. None of us can go to Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Unless you live in the southern states.
Then you just go to Red Lobster whenever you want.
Yeah. It's all open.
Would you go there? Just give up and go to Cracker
or
Barrel?
You're in Burbank or you're in Los Angeles and restaurants are just open now.
That's true. That's true. Oh God! Don't remind me.
For the future generations who may be listening to this podcast, this is during a pandemic. So,
yeah. By the way, if you're interested in those sweet, buttery biscuits from Red Lobster, head on over to your local Costco and get yourself a batch of
Cheddar Bay Biscuit Bay.
Yeah.
A baking
baking
mix.
Baking mix. Get yourself some of that. Don't go to Red Lobster. Just make them at home. They're delicious.
It's true.
Yeah.
Maybe Red Lobster will sponsor us now, or send us. They'll just send us 3 lobsters, live lobsters.
They'll send you a Ziploc full of Cheddar Bay mix.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, that's all we can afford.
I'd be down.
Yeah, it's fine. So they're like, hey, you guys have to go. You guys have to send an away crew, and so they decide it's going to be Riker, Geordi, and Data, which is kind of the go-to team, you know?
Yeah, I always find it weird that that's their go-to, like, away team. It's like your 3 most important officers.
Yeah.
I remember having that observation when I was first, like, trying to watch through the show. It's like they only ever send their top personnel to check out anything.
Yeah, the one-of-a-kind android, the engineer who has a one-of-a-kind visor and possibly is also the smartest person on the ship.
Yeah.
And your first officer. Let's just send them all away.
But you know who stays on the ship? The transporter.
Mm-hmm.
So they send the away team and they tell, usually it's Lieutenant Yar as well, but she stays behind.
Yeah, she was ordered to stay behind this time.
He's like, you stay here. And so they go down and check out what's going on. And basically old Luke Picard tells Geordi, hey, send me some of that signal off your visor, my man. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. So they establish that they could send. I hope from now on that's anytime they go away, they get a signal from Geordi.
Nope.
They never talk about it again. Yeah.
That's what's so dumb about it.
God damn it.
There's like a huge part of this episode where they make a big deal.
How many music video effects we have to put onto that screen to make sure that we can see Geordi's stuff.
Yeah. And it's so funny because Picard goes, now I understand him.
Yeah.
And it's also just like, whoever gave him this fucking visor, couldn't they just have given him a regular view?
Yeah.
Like you could just, like, he doesn't have to
iterate
look
on
at
that
this
software/hardware. Like, clearly you could program it a little better.
Yeah. Does it have to always be so crazy?
Give him like an app on his phone that he control it with. Or that he can control it with on his tricorder. Let's use real terminology here. Just put it on the tricorder.
So for the next few, I'm trying to see if I can get the music going. Oh no, never mind. I was trying to get the Predator music going. And so for the next like 10 minutes of the episode is just Picard being fascinated by this view.
I know.
it's like, oh my god, look at this. Are you guys looking at this?
He starts yelling at Jordy. What's that? What's that? What are you looking at?
It's like Captain, that's fucking Riker, you fucking idiot, dude. He's like, oh, tell him to wave at me.
Yeah, he's like this. He's like that one sphere at the end of Portal. It's like, ooh, what's that? What's that?
Ooh. And so, literally, it feels like 10 minutes of Geordi just explaining, like, no, that's not a thing. So, anyway, they get to this. They get to this tunnel, and the captain's like, "What is that? What is that in the wall?" And he's like, "Oh, it's like a stress fracture." And then Geordi determines that it's got about they have about 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
To figure out what's going on and get the hell out of it.
Maybe they don't know for sure.
They're like, hey, maybe 5, maybe now.
Yeah.
Who knows?
and they go, "Let's go," and they just casually walk.
So then they get to this door and they can't open it, but Data's like, I got super strength. I'm a mutant. I'm like Vision. I'm the Vision of the group.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me use the.
He's the Vision. Oh,
what is the stone Vision has?
Oh, Mind Stone.
The Mind Stone. He's like, let me use this Mind Stone. Boop! It pops that door open like nothing, and the crew gets in there and they realize there's a few Klingons in there. By a few, I mean 3. One's really badly injured, and the other 2 are ugh. And then of course Worf hears about this and he's like, oh, my people.
He's immediately super hard.
Yeah, super hard. And so they're there and they introduce themselves, and one's Kip Pardue and the other guy's is Tim. And there's another dude who's hurt and he's dying, and they're like, hey, and then Data's like, hey, I think I found a quicker way out of here, but let's grab them. And then Data's about to grab the injured guy who's dying, and then one of the Klingons like, no, don't touch his fucking body, you fucking bitch ass fools. I'll carry him. So he carries him, and then they kind of make their way through that beat up fucking. It looks like it just tore up the ship. And these are the only 3 survivors apparently. And they get to a point where they could teleport out of there. I don't know why they have to walk all the way over there. I don't know, why can't they just go, hey, just beam us up out of here?
I think because when they were near the warp core, there was too much interference, air quotes.
God.
So
Yep.
It's for drama. They have to make an escape.
They've done so many things in the Star Trek movies where they're teleporting people off of while they're jumping, while they're in different planets. They can do it all. They can do it all. But if you're behind a certain wall, like lead, you're like Superman. They can't fucking see you, and they can't teleport you. Fucking Jason Statham is like, I can't. I can't.
God, I can't get a lock on him.
Yeah, he's Australian. He's like, put another shrimp on the barbie. So apparently, Statham was in the bathroom or something, because Lieutenant Yar is manning the teleport station, and she tries to bring him in, and she fails.
Yeah,
and she brings him. She tries again, and the ship explodes. And I thought, man, they died, dude.
Yeah, the funny part is the ship explodes, and you cut to Picard's reaction, and it's like nothing.
He's like, oh, fuck. He's like, well, let's clone him.
Well, that's basically what the transporters are.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's what it totally feels like this time, because you see absolute destruction, and then they get transported back.
The transporter is the Prestige.
Yes.
Where each time you're killing somebody, so whoever's getting teleported out is dying, and whoever's teleporting in is getting cloned.
No, they could not have made it clearer.
Yeah,
that's the prevailing wisdom on how transporters work.
Yeah, except if you're talking about Jason Statham, the transporter, because he'll just kick you into the next dimension.
He throws you into
Oi. So they show up, and God damn it, this bit's never gonna get old.
Never.
Oh, Mike.
So that's just Australian again. You're just
oh God.
Kangaroos everywhere.
Kangaroos are transporters too.
Yeah,
they have a pouch.
They sure are. They transport them joeys anywhere.
So they get to the Enterprise, and this dude's dying. And for the dude that's dying, he's moving a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Well,
of
he's
activity.
Klingon dying.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
That's how.
Very dramatic.
So Picard's like, hey, what's up, man? I'm Luke Picard. I'm in charge here. Call me Luke or Picard or Captain or Your Majesty. And he's like, oh, it's fine. My name's Skip Pardue, and this is my friend Tim, and my friend over there is dying. But they seem very calm for people who were like, who were just about to die.
Right.
Especially Tim. He's very casual, just like got his arms crossed, and he's like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
And the captain's like, what the fuck's happening, dude? What happened out there, dude? Tell me what happened. And he's like, look, we were passengers minding our own goddamn business. They were taking us to this, we're being taken to this outpost. And then shit went wrong. Like, we were attacked by a Ferengi cruiser during the course of travel. And, we accidentally entered the neutral zone. And he's like, but Worf is the guy who figures this out. He's like, yeah, but what does he say? Like
weren't, because they had said before, like
the weapons
Riker,
that attacked this ship weren't Ferengi weapons.
Yeah. Because Riker originally thought, was it the Ferengi? And then Worf actually went, no, those energy signatures seem more Romulan.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And they were scared that the Romulans might be fucking hiding somewhere. Eric Bana and his gang of misfits. Time traveling through space.
Yeah.
That could have been him. Who knows?
In their weird ship that, even though they're minors, they created like the most powerful cloaked ship ever made.
Yeah, and they're all children. They're all children. So then they're like, no, like the Klingon can't get their story straight. It seems like they're like, yeah, no, we were, that's the thing. Yeah, you're correct. We were attacked, and it seems sketchy. And immediately, again, I said it once. I'll say it fucking again. I'll say it every single episode. As soon as something's sketchy, I arrest somebody. I'm like, you two fuckers. You look sketchy, dude. This guy has got his arms fucking crossed.
At least put them under observation.
Yeah. I'm not gonna just let them fucking roam the ship like fucking. Oh, sure, we'll give you a fucking tour. And so they're like, okay, so they keep the other whatever his name is. They keep the guy who's dying. They keep him there for observation, and the doctor is gonna see what he can do. And then they go, and Worf shows them to like their quarters, which are really nice, dude. Like for them just being saved, they're nice fucking quarters that they're hanging out in. And then I noticed that like the Dr. Beverly Crusher, she uses the same little thing to stab people with. She's trying to cure somebody of any ailment, like broken leg. Fucking let me stab you, dude, with this thing.
She just smashes it into his neck while he's like convulsing.
There's no like sanitizing it or something. Is it self-sanitizing? I don't know, dude.
I'm just gonna assume that it is, but I wanted to point out something else about Beverly Crusher, which is really funny to me. Like after their conversation with the Klingons, where they're being all cagey and shady and stuff, and the conversation ends. And like Picard and Riker kind of talk with each other for a little bit, but once they're done talking, Picard just decides to like look over to Crusher, who's off screen. It's like, so Doc, how's your patient? And she's like, he's fucking dying.
Yeah, it's like not good.
Yeah, not good.
People are always dying on her. For somebody who's like really good at what she does, quote unquote, she's a shitty doctor and a shitty mom, as we know.
Well, maybe she's actually not a great doctor. She's actually just he's failing upward.
Yeah,
because
well, that's how this world works. So.
I mean, she is clearly favored by the captain.
Yes,
there's nepotism at work here.
Yeah, dude, and sexual favors, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So she's stabbing this dude with the thing that's not sanitized, and I don't know. She's giving him a flu shot for all I fucking know, which is not going to help him. That's why he dies. And so the Klingons sit down, and then I don't know how the Klingons know, but the Klingons go to the machine. It's like, oh, food, and
they immediately know to use the replicator.
Yeah.
It was so weird to me that they knew how.
Yeah, it's like, have you guys been? It was really weird, and they had a bunch of meats and like some whiskey. What looked like whiskey,
like Klingon drinks.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, let's get down to it, the nitty gritty. And right away they start kind of start making fun of like Worf, like basically like saying that he's like domesticated. You know what I mean? Like he comes from this warrior race, and like he's like, you're kind of a bitch. Why are you wearing those clothes, dude? You look like a fool, man. Look at Tim and I. We're fucking hanging out here looking all cool. Our boots have horns. Your boots are fucking fancy. Yeah. No horns whatsoever. So they're making fun of him, like, and actually, and you get to learn a lot about Worf throughout the
this whole episode is Worf and Klingons, the backstory. Like they spend a lot of time fleshing out Worf's backstory and also just explaining what Klingons are now.
Yeah, because
I think a lot of the show just assumed things about Klingons that was never explained, and they're finally going through and explaining a bunch of stuff, like how Klingons normally act, or hey, why aren't Klingons our enemies anymore? Oh, there's an alliance now.
Yeah.
That wasn't really there
because
before.
like Klingons were erased from the original series that behaved and looked a certain way, and now they're not like that anymore.
Yeah, this is like a treaty, and so the medical bay calls Worf and says, hey, this dude's dying, even though like he's got the strength of a fucking ox and he's just fucking flailing everywhere, but Beverly Crusher's a shitty fucking doctor, so couldn't save him. And so he's dying, and as he's taking his last breath, the Klingons do, Timmy and Kip Pardue, they do the old last, like, kind of like last right, and they open his eyes and they're like, look at me, you son of a bitch. It's kind of like that scene in Heat where Winger is sitting there and he's like, oh, look at me, and then he fucking shoots him, dude. It feels like that. And he opens his eyes and there's like a growl that turns into like a yell. Yeah. And they all start doing it, and fucking Worf too. And
he joins in like almost instinctively. I don't think he quite knew what was going on, but he
yeah. And by the time they're done with the yell, the dude's dead, and you notice that the makeup is really shitty. It's a close up on the dude's face.
For both the Klingons, it's like they are trying to do. Is his blackface? I'm not quite sure. Like, because the actors are white. So I think they're trying to make them like a similar shade to Michael Dorn, I guess. But it's weird. We're riding the line because we're not quite sure.
The white guys dressed up to be Klingons end up of distinctly more orange hue than what you see on Michael.
They're kind of like Michael Dorn's definitely like they just made him black, like his makeup,
right?
But then I guess the other ones, like, they're kind of tanner, but you can see the gradient where the makeup's blending with their real skin, and it's just clearly just a white guy underneath, and it's really odd. Like,
I think they just tried to tan them up enough so that you weren't constantly questioning like why they're white and black Klingons.
Yeah. It was
why not? There's white and black people.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
And their nails are pink. I noticed that they painted their nails pink. They got pink nail polish. But so like they basically do the death scream, and then they take off one of the horns on the shoe of the dead dude.
Right.
And then Beverly Crusher's like, hey, should we do anything with the body? Like any special arrangements? And the old Timmy or Kip Pardue, sorry, he's like, hey, he's an empty shell now. Fucking toss him out with the fucking trash, dude. Basically, because they've already released the soul with the fucking yelling, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
And then they're walking around the ship, and everyone's kind of scared of them. They're like, oh fuck, these dudes are fucking weird looking. And they're walking around the ship, and they're talking about like their race and like how like they're a warrior race and all this bullshit. And
that's
a lot of macho shit, Yeah,
it's a thing I pulled because Worf talks a lot about his backstory, and then they also kind of explain what's going on with them. So.
Tell me, how is it that you come to this ship, that uniform?
Through an act of kindness. The Romulans attacked the Kittimar outpost. Everyone was killed. I was buried under the rubble and left for dead. A human Starfleet officer found me. He took me to his home on Galt and told his wife to raise me as his son.
How old were you?
Before the age of inclusion.
That young? Galt is a farming colony.
When my foster brother and I were of age, we entered Starfleet Academy. He hated it and returned to Galt. I stayed.
You have not spent much time among your own kind.
Hardly none.
So, when the night was still and quiet, and the sound of the blood rushing through your veins filled your ears, the only way to silence it was to slip out into the night, and like the hunter that spawned you, join in the struggle of life and death. You were unable.
And those around you did not understand. You frightened them.
They shunned you, cursed you, called you vile names, and you knew not why. Even now, do you know why you are driven? Why you cannot relent or repent or confess or abstain? How could you know? There have been no other Klingons to lead you to that knowledge.
So, yes, those feelings are still a part of me. But I control them. They do not rule me.
So it's a lot of interesting stuff they reveal in that interaction. It's like Romulans are a mutual enemy of both Federation and Klingon. Klingons had, I guess, colonies somehow, even though I thought Klingons were like really, I don't know. And then also like Worf has a stepbrother.
Yeah.
And like it's like a really interesting revelation. And you're like, they both went to Starfleet, but Worf is the one who made it, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Because it's like Worf you would think is the wild crazy one who would not make it, but he's the one who made it, and the other left back. And I don't know, it's just a bunch of interesting things, and also like Worf explaining that like, yes, it's basically his ethos. He like is a child of both Klingon blood, but also like human upbringing. So he has this constant inner conflict of how to control his emotions.
Well,
that constantly
they even
happens.
gave him a dash of Superman origin in there, because like he's raised
Yeah, a
by a
little
kindly farmer couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally a farming colony.
Yeah.
So
So
it's interesting.
Yeah, and I guess they kind of do that specifically to provide him like a very contrasting childhood, where it's like, well, all like you clearly grew up in a very slow,
Rural area
conflictless, idyllic life, So there would have been a lot of restlessness there. But I want to I remember last episode you described the Klingons as a bunch of bros, but they certainly love to wax poetic about their carnal urges.
I feel like they're like Shakespearean style bros.
Yeah,
where like because the thing about Shakespeare is that they were like, it was made for the masses.
Yeah,
but
they were
to
pulpy
us,
for their time.
Yeah, but to us they sound like such elegant prose. But back then it was just like, nah,
this is
man.
I want a Budweiser and the beer bong.
That was the original like Marvel Cinematic Universe back then, where it was just like we just making a broad
throwing down.
Yeah.
And then after that they confess. They're like, hey dude, Timmy and Kip Pardue are like, hey dude, we fucking lied to your commander, dude. We lied, motherfucker. Now that we know your story, we can trust you and we'll tell you the truth, because we know you're not going to tell anybody, because you're one of our bros now. Yeah. When bros tell each other secrets, they become
which is a really big assumption, but sure.
He's like, we commandeered the freighter. That's what happened, motherfucker. We left the crew behind. So basically you find out that these guys are fucking war criminals, dude. These guys are
literally war criminals, because they're doing it in the neutral zone. So they're literally committing war crimes.
Like they're
like seditionists.
Yeah. They're like
for nothing though.
How do you say? They wanted to storm the Capitol.
Well, not even that. At least that had some sort of goal.
Well, no.
These guys are just
kind of did, and then they're like, no, we're gonna send them away, and then they took over this fucking ship.
Yeah, but then like they don't have any goal with it.
No,
they're just like, let's just tear it up. Let's just tear up the galaxy. Like,
well, what do you think the goal of the Capitol was? They had no fucking plan. They were just like, we're gonna kill people, and that's it. It's like, yeah, but then what? Like, what comes next? And they're like, nah, we didn't think that far.
That's true. That's true.
So these fuckers are fucking idiots, dude. They're a bunch of Trump supporters in space, and they
very proud, these boys.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, and they're like, dude, we killed all those fuckers, those pacifists, those goddamn fucking those libtards. We killed them. Yeah. We killed those dudes, and we were taking it over, and then we fucked up because it blew up in our face, and one of our guys is dead now. He's like, but anyway, we can't go back to our people because they'll kill us. Basically, is the thing, and so Worf has to kind of like sit with that for a bit, And then
he kind of is like, it looks like he's kind of like, okay, I'll go along with this.
Yeah, it's weird. Like,
it seems like the show is trying to set up like this. Oh, maybe they're actually getting through to Worf and he's turning. Like, that seems to be like what the show is trying to put forth. But I don't know why I never quite buy it.
Well, because Worf.
like, I feel like Worf. So like these dudes are clearly like radicalized motherfuckers, you know, like they're like, we want the old ways where we have, you know, many virgin wives, and you know, like we're gonna blow up all the fucking infidels, which you were part of, you motherfucker. He tells
they literally do call them infidels.
Yeah, that's true. They use that terminology.
Yeah. So they're like standing in this like in this near where that warp drive is, and he's like, hey, keep on giving us a tour, and they basically keep kind of poking at him, like they're like, oh, you're a civilized man now, or like, you know, like they keep talking down to him, like kind of trying to anger and bring out like this fierce warrior thing out of him. Mm-hmm. And then you go back to the bridge, and there's a conversation with Picard and Riker and Data, where they talk about how like they're probably one of the few people that have seen that ritual of like the death yell or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm, the Klingon death ritual.
Of the howling and stuff, and how like, you know, that's crazy how they got to see it. And then they get hailed. Is that what it's called? Hailing?
Yeah. They got hailed.
And they're like, and it's not raining. They got a call. They got a call from this other Klingon, and he's like, hey, we're looking for these 3 motherfuckers that are idiots, and they tried to start an uprising.
But I love like what a schlub this guy on the other end looks like. Like he's just sitting in a dark room with a bunch of smoke. Yeah. It's like, I'm a cool guy.
Yeah. Hey, maybe he's really high. That's the problem. He's like, we lost 3 dudes again. Kip Pardue, Timmy, and Jim.
Those guys are renegades.
Yeah.
Just get him back over to us, please.
Yeah, please. Yeah. And have you noticed that every ship that they see is on the, I guess it's an LCD TV, right? That they're looking out of? On the bridge. It's always coming at them, dude. It's always coming at them fast. And I think like slow it down. Like, it doesn't have to, how about it moves from left to right instead of so close? Just too close,
that's true. Comfort. You always feel like they're about to slam into the ship.
Yeah, and it's like, do you know how long it takes to slow a car down? Imagine how long it takes to slow down this goddamn ship, dude.
Yeah, you don't have like air resistance or like friction to help you. Yeah, you need reverse thrusters.
Yeah. If I were on the bridge, I'd be like constantly like, look, we're gonna find your dudes, your war criminals, and we'll do whatever you want, dude. We'll throw them off, we'll throw them out of the airlock, whatever. But just slow your ship down, dude. You're dangerously close. I know you're high. I see all that smoke around you. Slow down, back the fuck up, dude, and we'll get you your dudes. So the captain sends Lieutenant Yar to go look for Worf. Well, she asks like, hey, where are they? And they're like, they're in deck 17. By the auxiliary turbo lift by the battle bridge. Mm-hmm. And immediately they're like, oh fuck, these guys are up to no good, dude. Those dudes, Timmy and fucking Kip Pardue and Worf, they're corrupting our man, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, you go. We can't assume anything. Like anything could be happening over there. So Lieutenant, you get your people and fucking let's get these guys under control, man. And she's like, got it, sir. And she gets the fuck out of there, and she calls a bunch of fucking green shirts.
Yeah.
And they go and they get to the part of the Enterprise where they're at. And basically Yar's like, hey, step back, you know. And she's not really, I don't like how she talks to Worf. She's not talking to him. I get it. Like they don't know if like they radicalize
they don't give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
It's like it reminds me directly of like, remember when fucking Lore was there and everyone was like, can we trust Data? And then Picard was like, yeah, we totally trust him. But here Picard's like, no, we can't trust Worf.
Yeah.
Worf is easily influenced.
Well, I guess to her credit, Tasha's acting about the same in both scenarios.
That's so it's fine for Tasha. That's fine. She's the security chief. She should be constantly like vigilant, but it's just weird for Picard to be like, nah, Worf's dumbass. He's totally gonna.
Well, and that's actually a drop in confidence from before, because at first he's like, don't worry, Worf can handle anything that they do, and then later on he's like, remember who you're dealing with.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, back up. Worf, these fuckers are war criminals. We're gonna arrest them. And then immediately Kip Pardue and Timmy, he's like, hey, help us, dude. Help us get the fuck out of here, dude. It's in your blood. Listen to it, man. It's in your blood.
And then Worf actually has a moment where he's like, should I?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know.
Yeah. In a moment of overacting, he raises his eyebrows and is like, oh, and looks back and forth like, do I listen to my friends?
Well, granted, wasn't that also like a commercial or like an act break? Like
that's an act break.
Yeah, there's reason to just hold on his expression forever.
Yeah.
And then this little girl comes out of the room they're nearby.
This fucking girl.
Fucking out of nowhere. And old Kip Pardue picks her up and immediately Yar's like, hey, we got a hostage situation here. Which makes me think like of the cops now, where they're like, oh, this dude's going for the fucking glove box. You gotta shoot him. It's like, no, you want the goddamn registration. What do you think I'm fucking doing, you piece of shit?
Where else would we keep the registration?
Yeah, in our butts. God damn it, you fucking idiots. And so Yara like immediately fucking cranks it up to 10, the intensity. And then like old Kip Pardue like puts the little girl down. And hell, for all we know, that's how he greets people. Like he's like, oh, what kind of creature is this? She's got no wrinkles on her forehead. Let me look at this. You know, like
so
that's
hideous.
what he could. Yeah, so hideous, dude. This white child. And so old Kip Pardue hands the kid off to Worf, and Worf hands it back to the mom. And then Yara's like, oh God, sorry, everything's all fine now here. Everything's great. Disregard. We got everything under control. So they take the Kip Pardue and Timmy into custody, and like Yara like kind of like breathes like, a sigh of relief, and it's like, yeah, like he's one of you, idiot. Like, what do you think he was easily going to be brainwashed by these other fucking idiots?
Yeah. So Worf is like, he wouldn't have taken her as a hostage anyway. She's a Klingon. Klingons don't take hostages.
Yeah, they only eat them.
Well, this is like a nice little like illustration of like Worf's actual conflict, because like he has already experienced like a bit of that, like the teasing he gets from his like from people who are of his like race, and then on the other hand, his fellow officers are like, oh God, like these savages nearly took that hostage, and
Yeah, and then like, and then he can't fuck anybody, so they're like, he's got so much tension in him, dude. He hasn't fucked in for ages. He won't fuck any humans because he'll break them in half. Anyway, he's got a lot of tension in him. Yeah. So they put those war criminals behind this like force field, and they immediately laugh. They're like, look at this force field. These fucking bitch ass humans, and they smirk at each other. They're like, force fields.
And they start doing this like gnome shit where they like dismantle pieces of their armor to build stuff.
Yeah.
They
use one of the horns they took from the other dead dude, and like that has a laser in it, and like so they basically like build like a fucking plastic gun, like a 3D printed gun.
It looks awful. Yeah, like it looks like it's.
But then when it's assembled, you realize it's a different prop.
But like when they're assembling it, it looks like it's about to fall apart at any moment.
It looks like Play-Doh.
Probably did.
Yeah.
But once you go to the wide shot, you see like, oh, now that they're using a real prop with
they
like
have
lights.
to.
Yeah,
the moment they swung it around, it would have just fallen. It's like, did nobody check their persons to be like, hey, that's a part? Like, imagine you go into a prison and someone like, I got a magazine on inside my shoe.
Yep.
And I have a gun barrel in my wrist. let's just put them all together.
The first thing they do is they get you naked and they check your butthole. But these people, no cavity searches in this fucking ship.
Yeah.
You have a big old belt? No, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Yeah. You're not going to use it as a weapon.
I just want to point out how poor of a guard they have standing outside. He notices that the force field goes down. Then he says like, oh God, the force field's down. Okay. And then he just jumps right into their line of fire.
Yeah. It's like he never had training. Like, hey, get cover and then just kind of shoot in there. Hell, just shoot blindly.
You have a pretty good chance of hitting them if you just
or before all of that, look at them. Because they were just building this fucking gun in plain sight
while he was looking away.
Yeah, like no, does no one just watch them at all? Or also, like, this is a general problem with Star Trek in general when they put people in the brig. Is that it's always a stupid force field. Like you can just turn it off. If there's a power issue, they're free. Like you need something stronger than just a force field.
The Klingons, they only need to bring out like a little like credit card to disrupt this force field, and like they don't even try to explain it. It's just like, yeah, this disrupts force field. So what?
It's not even a credit card. It's like a piece of their fucking elbow pad.
Yeah,
it's like a piece of rubber.
It's just like, come on, guys. Like I know we're in the sci-fi future, but come on.
And so Worf goes back to the bridge and basically Luke Picard tells him like, hey, these fuckers are war criminals. They're up to no good. They're radicalized and they're idiots. So it's like double whammy, dude.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to hand them over to the Klingon dude, and he's gonna execute them. And basically Worf is like, is there no other way besides this? And then the old Klingon that's high as shit with all the smoke, he comes on and he's like, hey, what's up? And then Worf asks a permission to talk to him. So they talk, they say greetings in their language. And then he basically pleads with the commander, the Klingon commander, if they can be taken out to like this outpost and just be left to fend for themselves, or at least die like a honorable death and stuff.
Yeah. Just there's a battle planet. Can we just put him on this?
Yeah.
Like the Predators or something.
Yeah.
It's good enough for them.
And eventually like they're like, no, we can't do that. They're war criminals and they're idiots, and I get it, you feel for them, but fuck them. They're idiots and they're radicalized.
Yeah, he just seems tired. That seems like his motivation. He's like, no, your idea's not bad. It's just I don't have a lot of time. And
this Klingon race seems to move so far past those old values, because like if this really was as appealing an idea as he thinks it is, then all the Klingons should be like, what? There's a fucking battle planet we can just go to and and live a glorious battle and die gloriously forever. Like that sounds sick. Let's all go.
But they're tired. This is a tired Picard Klingon planet. Yeah.
Like, you know what? I keep getting reminded of that one dude from Pawn Stars. Chumley, yeah. Like, there's like...
I haven't watched Pawn Stars, so...
There's like two Chumleys in this episode. Like, Tim's a Chumley, and so's the what's his face on the other vessel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hi McGee.
Yeah, hi McGee. Also Chumley. Two Chumleys.
There are three Chumleys. They're all Chumleys. So the Chumleys, old Kip Pardue and Tim, they build a gun out of their fucking soles of their shoe, like the fucking shoe bomber. And no one sees them building it. And they battle it out.
You could say they cobbled it together.
Yeah. they battle it out, and one of the Klingons gets killed, and one of them escapes. So the guy who escapes makes his way all the way to where the core is at. So it's very dangerous. And eventually,
such terrible security.
There's no one watching anything. Like they not only have they let like Wesley take control of the ship, like he literally took over the ship. This is the
warp core. This is like a nuclear reactor, essentially. And there is like not even like an extra wall or door of protection. It's just always
like a
wide
security
open.
Code or like, you need a badge to get in here.
Yeah, it's always wide open for anyone to take a look at.
I guess on the plus side, it's clear then that this is not a radioactive power source.
Yeah. If you want to get on a plane, then you can take off your shoes and then inspect your butthole. But if you want to go see the warp fucking core, no fucking problem, dude. With a belt gun, you come on right in, dude. And
come on in with your Swiss Army boots.
Yeah. your thick ass soles. And so he's in there like holding the goddamn fucking whole ship hostage now. And so they call for help, and the captain goes and he takes Worf. Worf asks to go, brings him, and so Yar's like, hey, let's just wait it out. He's gonna get tired, his adrenaline's gonna go down. Wait it out, dude. And
it's such a silly
and he's like, oh no, when he gets tired, he's just gonna blow this whole fucking ship up.
He'll eventually get bored and walk away.
That's like and so they let him go and talk to him, and he's like, and then the old Kip Pardue's like, I knew you'd come and help me. And so basically, like, they have this interesting. Do you have this?
I
this
do
bite?
have this clip
Let's play it.
because it is a really interesting
Important,
exchange that they have.
Put down the phaser.
Wait. I do not believe this.
Believe it.
I have tasted your heart. You have been with them, but you are still of us. Do not deny the challenge of your destiny. Get off your knees and soar. Open your eyes and let the dream take flight.
My brother, it is you who does not see. You look for battles in the wrong place. The true test of a warrior is not without. It is within. Here is where we meet the challenge. It is the weaknesses in here a warrior must overcome.
No.
You have talked of glory and of conquest and legends we will write.
Yes, the birthright of every Klingon.
Yet all you say, where are the words duty, honor, loyalty, without which a warrior is nothing?
What are you saying? Living among these humans has sucked the Klingon heart out of you.
Put down the phaser.
You are a sham. My words were dust upon the ground. Your blood has no fire. You are weak like them. I don't care what you look like. You are no Klingon.
Perhaps not.
And he just shoots him point blank in his chest, and he falls through the glass to the bottom. That's a cool shot.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. He.
It is kind of funny though, because it's like, wow, how hard did you fall?
He fell hard. Yeah.
Like if it's a glass floor, it's supposed to be like strong enough to withstand a guy falling on it.
No, not this one, because this is by the warp core.
Oh yeah, and also he's a Klingon. And
everything
Klingons
by
are
the
very
warp core is
heavy.
extra fragile.
Yeah, dense as shit, dude. So he, the guy falls, dies. He's dying, and old Worf goes over and gives him the old death chant.
Yeah, the death ritual yell.
And he yells, and it's over. And you don't see what happens to the other dude. That guy got no fucking death yell. He's probably wandering the bowels of fucking the ship, haunting it. And they get back to the bridge, and that Klingon commander comes on, and he's like, "Hey, what happened to my dudes that are fucking uprisers, those idiots, old Chumley?" And he's like, "Oh, they're dead. We killed them." And they're like, "All right." He basically wants to talk to Worf, and Worf's like, "Yeah, we took care of them. They died with honor. Basically, they died in battle. You know."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "So yeah, it's fine. They died well." And the captain's like, do you wish to have the bodies? And he's like, they're only empty vessels now. You can toss them out with the trash.
Call back.
Yeah. So the Klingon commander tells Worf, like, hey, once your term of duties on the Enterprise or not even for the Enterprise, for the what's it called? Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
Are over. Once your tour is over, you should join us. And perhaps you could basically, like, hey, you could teach us something from what you learned, and we'll teach you something. And Worf is polite, and he's like, yeah, I'd be honored, and thank you. And they end the transmission, and Worf goes back to his station, and he turns back, and he tells the captain, hey, I was only being polite. Chill out, dude. And then he does it again.
And
like
Picard looks so uncomfortable.
I know.
Yeah.
Picard's like, sure. I feel like now Picard's afraid of Worf.
Yeah. He's like, no. We found out he's got a spiky dick.
Well, Picard's
and
acting
he has
like
a crazy chant.
Picard's acting like he like only knew like this person of color from work. And then he went and met their friends and how he acts with them.
Oh no!
And he's like, "Oh
no.
shoot, he's not the person I thought he was."
There is in that earlier conversation with Data, he does literally go, "He seemed like a different person."
Exactly. It's like I've never seen him code switch before. Data.
Oh god, it's uncomfortable.
It is.
Yeah,
I'm uncomfortable.
God damn it, Picard.
And then Worf has to say it again. He's like, "Hey, seriously, I have no desire to leave the Enterprise. This is where I'm going to die, sexless." And Picard's like, "Good." Anyway, he's like, and then he kind of just mumbles. He's like, "The bridge wouldn't be the same without you." And he's like, why couldn't you say it to my face, dude? Tell me you love me, dude. You fucking bitch ass bald fuck.
Because he's afraid of him now.
Yeah.
You can't look at him directly anymore.
Anyway, that was the episode. And then they fly off to some other fucking planet to fuck some other people.
To another neutral zone.
Yeah. All in all, this was an interesting episode. I learned a lot about Worf. He's got an interesting childhood.
Yeah. Which we will delve into. There are going to be more episodes about Worf that go more into family stuff. He probably has the most family stuff out of anyone in the series, actually.
Well, it's very intriguing, especially because he's like a non-human race. So it's really intriguing to learn more about him. I dug the episode, even though I hated old fucking Kip Pardue and Tim. But it was a good one. So I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I think that's about right for me too.
Yeah, I think I agree with that also.
Because it's like it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting things in the episode. It's very messy though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. It feels like they're just like this happens. They escape somehow, and
it also kind of drags in the first couple of acts because it takes them a while to get the Klingons onto the Enterprise.
Yeah. Well, they waste 10 minutes to this fucking visor thing.
I know. They like just let Picard go on this tangent to show off, the music video Joy Division.
He's so excited. Yeah.
The
visor doesn't show up again.
Yeah, they just decided
Well, I think it actually shows up one last time in the series at least, but I think it's not until like a way later season. And then it's not even used the same way. It's for something else.
I want Joy to walk up to someone and be like, I want your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Also, like the visor thing, Picard's essentially excited over what's essentially just a remote camera.
Yeah.
Couldn't they just all have remote cameras at all times? Why wouldn't they just do that?
Picard kept on asking specific questions like, but how can you make sense of any of this? It's like, dude, he's been using this tech for a very long time, and you're just seeing it for the first time. Chill out. He knows what to look for.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Messy episode. I mean, it makes kind of sense why it was messy. This was apparently an episode they wrote in 2 days.
Oh, okay.
So that makes sense.
So for 2 days, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
They got a lot of interesting backstory to work. Because for Star Trek, especially like Star Trek of this era, when you establish something in a episode, that is canon forever. Yeah. So they always had to be really careful with what they say. Like, for example, you there's a part in this episode where they're like, oh, it's the traders of Kling or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's because Kling was supposed to be the original name of their planet, of the Klingon planet.
Okay.
And then then I think eventually they were like, that sounds stupid. The planet Kling. So that's why they changed it to Kronos later. But it's part of the canon now. So now Kling is apparently a city in Kronos.
I could live with Kling. Kling sounds fine to me.
Yeah.
But that was that then. Yeah, so that was, that was the Heart of Glory episode, the first of many Klingon specific episodes that we're going to see in TNG. It's a lot of fun. As predicted, Worf yelled at the sky. And
we got 2 Worf yells out of this episode.
Yeah, and there was talk of honor and
I kind of forgot how complex backstory Worf has, actually.
It's really interesting, and it gets more interesting later once the other family members show up, right?
Yeah, because Worf could have easily just been like, hey, I'm the Klingon who was part of an exchange program or some shit, and I'm from Kling. I'm the Klingon from Kling. Hello,
I'm here.
How are you, fellow Starfleet officers? But instead, it was like, no, he's actually a transplanted orphan who grew up amongst people who weren't his own, but still yearns for a kind of he's clearly done a lot of research on Klingons. He knows a lot about Klingon culture, but has so little experience himself. It's really interesting stuff.
It reminds me of if it almost feels like they split up Spock into Data and Worf, because Data has all of the Spock characteristics of not understanding humans, and Worf does a little bit too, but Worf took on the characteristics of Spock's weird dual background, because Spock is half human, half Vulcan.
That's true.
So he has that dichotomy always going, and then Worf seems like that kid. There's like that story of like, some Asian kid or whatever was adopted by Americans, and then they're like, oh, but now I want to know what my history was like. So they get research and stuff, and they figure all that out.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, oh man, Sarah told me a hilarious backstory. It's not hilarious; it's kind of fucked up. But like, someone adopted an Asian kid, right?
Okay.
And they grew up telling this kid that, oh, we adopted you from an orphanage in China.
Oh God.
Right. So he grew up thinking he was Chinese and did all this Chinese stuff.
Of course.
Right. And then later on, his parents realized they were wrong.
What was he?
And
then?
He was Japanese.
Oh no!
So he was like, this whole time I've been learning this wrong culture.
Well, don't worry. To large
Like,
swaths of America, that's the same thing.
Because my parents couldn't tell the difference. Basically.
Oh no. Then your assessment's correct. It was hilarious and fucked up.
Yeah. All right. That's
a large size oof there.
Heart of Glory, everyone. The next episode's The Arsenal of Freedom, which is
really? That's
another episode. Yeah, The Arsenal of Freedom. It's a very American sounding title.
Sure does. What's it about?
I don't
stockpiling.
I don't
weapons?
I don't remember what this one's about. But it sounds like there will be a lot of fighting involved if it's called The Arsenal of Freedom.
Yes.
Anyway.
This
is
is
the
a
Newbie
minute.
Star
Now
Trek,
I remember that
everybody.
one. Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Do you now? Oh, okay. Well, Newbie Star Trek. This is the Newbie Star Trek podcast. You can catch more episodes at newbiestartrek.com. That's NEWBIE StarTrek.com or
Newbie Jason Statham.
Yes.
newbiestatham.com.
Yeah, Newbie
That is
Statham.
also where you can find it. Or anywhere podcasts are sold. You can just search for Newbie Star Trek and you'll find us.
But don't pay for this one.
Don't pay. No, don't pay for it. Yeah, definitely not. We're not the What the Fuck podcast, Mark Maron. You don't have to pay for it. What else? Well, he is one of the biggest podcasts ever made. So.
I mean, his podcasts are free, and then they go into archive, and then you have to pay for them.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, but originally, when he moved to a different thing, you had to pay for that service to even hear him, and then I think they changed the model after that. Anyway. Also, our Fugitive Frames film podcast. That's our movie discussion podcast. If you like the way we've been talking about the Star Trek in general, but you want to hear us do about movies and TV shows.
New episode out now. Go check it out.
Oh shit, is it?
By the time this airs, sorry, no, not right now.
Okay,
I was about to say whoa, my app didn't notify me.
It'll be out by the time you hear this, so that'll be fun.
Sweet.
And yeah, which one's got that one going to be, Ricardo?
Surprise.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
Could be
All
anything.
right, well, we'll have a surprise Fugitive Frames film podcast out. You can find that at fugitiveframes.com or anywhere else you search for podcasts. Fugitive Frames Film Podcast, you can search for that. And also we have our YouTube channel, which is Fugitive Games, which is we do, as you might infer from the title, like
we review sewing machines on that channel.
A video game shit. Let's plays, and we do streams sometimes and stuff like that. And just have a good old. Right now, we're going through two very narrative games. We're going through Batman: The Enemy Within, and we're doing LA Noire.
They're essentially both detective games.
They're essentially both detective games, and they're both a fuck ton of fun right now.
Yeah,
we're having a good time.
I'm about to start watching that Batman Within.
The Enemy Within. Yeah.
On your guys' video game channel. Just as a quick little teaser for that episode. Are you guys digging it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're having a lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay. Because I dug it.
So so it's like you played you finished it.
Is Enemy Within Part 2? Yeah,
it's the second version.
Yeah.
The sequel one. Yeah.
Or the second batch of episodes, I guess.
Yeah. So that one, it's interesting how Telltale, the writers are definitely huge fans of Batman and took what is like very established Batman material and just like did interesting twists with it, where it's like, it's this now. No, it's this now. Yeah. And it's like very interesting in a way that's not like just stupid. It's like very interesting and smart the way a lot of things,
thoughtful twisting.
These things are twisted. Yeah, it's very thoughtful. That's the best way to put it.
It's not
and the
just turning
dialogue's really
Bane
good.
into a
Yeah.
green venom monster.
yeah. It's a very thoughtfully written story with great dialogue.
Yes, actually. I'm always
the
so impressed
line
by
where
it,
Amanda
actually.
Waller. Yeah, the line where Amanda Waller yells, "Thunderbolt! I'm the whole damn hurricane." It's a fucking great line. Yeah. So that you can find that at YouTube at Fugitive Games, or you can go to the URL fugitive.games. That's a URL. And next week we're gonna we're gonna watch Arsenal of Freedom, and then you can listen to us talk about it. But in the meantime, this has been Newbie Star Trek. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, everybody. It's still fucked up out there. So
Get ready for death
hope you
spheres.
guys death spheres.
Stay safe. Keep it real.
Oi.
These Klingons are crazy.